Ready or Not is a masterclass in one thing that can help you as a dungeon master, and that's environmental storytelling. It may not be a game for everyone, it's dark, it's gritty, and it's also a tactical shooter. I wouldn't blame you if you said it wasn't your cup of tea, but it can teach you about environmental storytelling. I'm the Extragalactic Unicorn, and welcome to my video series where I try and impart my knowledge of TTRPGs and storytelling to help you make the best tabletop RPG campaign that you can. So let's take a little look at the environmental storytelling in Ready or Not, and how you can use similar techniques in your tabletop RPG campaign to make your game better. Transition! First mission is called Thank You, Come Again. Why yes, the gritty tactical shooter starts off with a Simpsons reference. In Ready or Not, you play as members of a SWAT team in a fictional American city riddled with crime, poverty, and on the brink of collapse. Thank You Come Again takes place in a petrol station, or a gas station if you're American, I suppose. This petrol station is the scene of an armed robbery gone wrong, and it's your job as members of SWAT to arrest any suspects, secure the area, and rescue any civilians. So what is environmental storytelling? Well, rather simply, it's when you show your players the narrative through clues in the environment and let them work out what has happened through assumption and deduction. If you play through Thank You Come Again with your brain off, you'll miss a lot of the vital clues and set dressing which the developers have intentionally left throughout the level. Ready or Not isn't just a completely mindless shooter. It goes to great length to tell the story of a city on the brink of collapse. However, it communicates much of this narrative without really a single word. The mission briefing is rather to the point, being a factual police briefing describing the mission and the situation on the ground. It adds some context to the situation, but is otherwise a mechanical aid to the player. This is a little tangential, but I thought I'd go ahead and mention the map and the briefings they give you in a slightly different context first. The players are given a set of blueprints and are told they are responding to a robbery gone wrong. An armoured cash truck arrived at the petrol station to take the station's earnings from a safe into the truck. Then armed intruders broke into the station in an attempt to take the money. When designing handouts and aids for your players, it's important to factor in who is giving this information and where this information is coming from. If you want to create a really cool looking handout, then you should aim to design maps or other pieces of in-game information for purposes other than just as game information. The map in Ready or Not is a set of blueprints, likely accessed from some sort of archive. In later levels, these maps vary from hand-drawn maps to functional blueprints. Some of the maps don't show key details like a missing wall or a barricade that the enemies have erected, because why would they? If you want your players to get immersed in your game, you should design handouts in a way which makes them look like they have a purpose in the universe rather than solely as a game aid. And a little wrong information means that players will have to adapt on the fly. Alright, mission briefing acquired. Now let's suit up, head on in, and bring some order to some chaos.
This is Talk. Medical assistance is standing by. Shotgun flashes.
Got a suspect here and need a medical attention.
Take it easy for me, all right?
Okay, so now we've cleared out the level, we can properly explore the story being shown to us. The first thing you'll notice on your approach is the armoured van. The van itself is owned by a company called DeBanco. This bank is also referenced on a broken ATM in the same level, which establishes it as an institution in the city. However, further intriguing is a poster board in the level which contains a flyer for a DeBanco workers demonstration. This suggests two things. First off, the workers of DeBanco are on strike, likely over conditions, painting DeBanco as a dubious employer. It also suggests that DeBanco is understaffed. The ATM outside has no cash, as stated on it by a sticker. And the fact that one of their armoured trucks is being targeted suggests that they may not have enough staff to properly protect their truck. There's also an open letter to the Union of Refuse Workers, which indicates they are also on strike, likely meaning there's a reason why Los Santos has so much garbage and litter rolling around. We can actually confirm this with a newspaper article on the front counter telling us the refuse workers are indeed staging a walkout. There's also a newspaper clipping which tells us, quote unquote, "Debanco ruins lives," with a picture of what looks like a protest movement. It looks like Debanco really doesn't have a good reputation, and there seems to be wider public outcry about this organisation. With these heavy hints, we can kind of assume Debanco has something to do with the unrest the city finds itself in. This could prompt our players to further investigate the bank, or at the very least try and understand how they are directly affecting the city. You could well decide the people behind Debanco are trying to push the city into a decline for some reason or another. Or it could be that there's a company behind this bank which is pulling the strings as well. Corrupt businesses and politicians make for amazing bad guys. They've got a lot of assets and things they can throw at the players for messing with their plans. And this could be the foundation for a conspiracy which sees the players grapple with corrupt cops, underground gangs, used as proxies, or maybe even a good old private military company. Whatever the case though, bad guys like this always have a plan, and there is likely to be multiple layers to it. The trash collection issue could well be a smokescreen to hide some sort of illicit dealings, and the Debanco crisis could have been happening for a long time now. This is simply the first misstep our bad guy has actually made. Inside the building, we come across another detail which is easily looked over at first. Laying across the hall, we come across the corpse of a dead man, clearly having been shot multiple times, with a pistol sitting next to his corpse. Just across from him is a table, where he was clearly sitting, with a protest sign saying, quote unquote, "No to the anti-vets bill." It's clear that this man was a veteran. He tried to defend himself and the people in the diner. However, it looks like his pistol jammed, and that was the end of the road for him. Now, funnily enough, this isn't just a random detail. Later on in Ready or Not, the player actually has to deal with a situation in a hotel where a group of veterans have taken hostages, and they are protesting about an anti-veterans bill. This is a wonderful bit of foreshadowing by the developers, and this is something that you could do as well. While we don't meet the armed group of veterans in this level, we are at least made aware that this is another bit of discord going on in the city. After all, in a tabletop RPG setting, this may be enough to prompt our players to ask about the veterans group and the strike. It gives them more information to work with, and they may want to investigate this. Or it could be something that comes to the forefront a lot later. Not everything has to be relevant right away, and even if the players don't decide to go down this route right away, they'll still feel clever for having noticed this bit of foreshadowing that you've put in, and they'll have taken note of this organisation beforehand. Later on through the level, we encounter the corpse of the store manager with his phone ringing beside him. It's a haunting thing to come across, and you can clearly see the picture of his loved one on the phone screen beside him, desperately trying to get a hold of someone who is already gone. More interestingly though, right next to him in the manager's office, we can see two certificates hanging on the wall. One is a business diploma, and another is from the US Forestry Service. It turns out the store manager was a volunteer for the local fire department. He's not just a business owner, but he's a contributor to the community. This simple detail beautifully underpins the entire theme Ready or Not is trying to convey. Even if he's just one man, he represents much more than that. He's a man who gives back to the community and a man who holds it up. He's a positive force in the world, and he has just been cut down by desperation and corruption of a thriving community. And because this man got cut down, our criminals have made everything worse for everyone else around them. In many ways, this little micro-story tells the entire story of what the game is all about. It's a consequence of a crumbling system. Micro-stories like this are a reinforcement technique which you can use in your own writing. Having small details which reinforce the fable or the point that you're trying to convey can reach the players through subtext. It's the game telling you, this is what is happening all around you. Go do something about it. In the manager's office, there's a phone call from what is likely to be the store owner we can listen into, and which gives us a little more detail about the situation.
Hi, Mudasir. I got your message about the on-site safe. I am trying my best to get that sorted out as soon as possible.
You good?
I know the ATMs have been a huge problem, and you know DeBanco's been having a lot of issues as well lately. So give me a call back when you get this and we can talk about that. And there is also the other incident that I want to talk about as well. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Once again, we get some more information about this cash pickup, but we also have a brief mention of some other incident. A nice little thing to slip in if you're running a wider campaign. This gives the players a reason to go and visit this NPC and ask what all of that was about. It could lead to some deeper connection. Perhaps our suspects scoped out the target beforehand and that caused some other problem. Or maybe there's another plot line you have in mind which intersects with this one. Maybe someone was caught drug dealing on the CCTV, or maybe that gives you a clue about the location of a local drug cartel. Or perhaps it's something just a little bit more mundane. So as you can see, environmental storytelling can tell you a lot about a series of events, a location or a story. It means as a dungeon master you don't have to simply be telling the players everything. You can let them figure things out for themselves. After all, the suspects here are just opportunistic criminals. They're not really connected to anything else going on. They're a symptom which can lead your players to the cause of the problem. This way of storytelling really lets your players get immersed in the story being told. There's often a lot of debate in the tabletop RPG space about like sandbox and railroad design, but I would instead encourage you to think of all of the information in a scene as just points of information rather than signposts which are intended to lead you on some sort of intended design or path. This way, your players will feel the freedom of a sandbox, but you also have the guidance and control to naturally let them know where the next signpost is going to be. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this brief exploration into environmental storytelling. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing for more informative videos like this. I also post funny gaming videos on this channel as well, so if you're looking for something a little bit more comedic after this discussion, then feel free to pick up one of those videos. But otherwise, have a great day and cheerio.